Hey everybody, Matt here with Backwoods Mindset. I'm going to talk to you today more about diabetes. Specifically today, we're going to talk about hypoglycemia, which is my biggest fear. I think I have trying to think of the word, a different view on it because I am a diabetic myself, and as you guys know that have been watching, my daughter, Darcy, is also a juvenile diabetic. So we have two juvenile diabetics. So my fear comes from two different places. I have the fear that I'll have a low blood sugar episode in the middle of the night. And that's one thing with me is mine are middle of the night. I've had one during the day before when I was at work, and they had to call 911, and they had to get my blood sugar back up. Now, so I fear it at night because I can't, when I'm asleep, I can't tell if my blood sugar is dropping low. Doesn't wake me up. Now with Darcy, I have fears about it happening to her in the middle of the night, but I also have this fear that she's not going to know when she's low. There's certain times, and we talked about it in the last video about diabetes, that when she feels weird or something feels not right, it's best just to check your blood sugar, and I would say that goes for anybody. You should do that. If you feel weird, if you feel lightheaded, you feel dizzy, your speech is slurred, you feel like you're moving slower, test it. I mean, you could be high too. The symptoms can kind of go back and forth. I know when my blood sugar's low. I know the feeling. It's a very distinct feeling, and I know that I need sugar right away when it happens. And I've also been dealing with it for 26 years, so it's a lot easier for me to pick up on it. Where it worries me about Darcy, because Darcy's now just hit her 1 year mark like a week ago or 2 weeks ago. Yeah, 2 weeks ago. So she's just had it for a year, and she hasn't experienced severe low blood sugar, which can happen. You know, there's a lot of different factors that come into low blood sugars, and that's what we're going to be talking about today. It can be caused from illness. You're sick. You're not eating enough. Can cause it. Too much insulin can cause it. If you exercise, but a lot of these things go with eating, and that's why I say sickness. If you're sick and you're not eating, but you're taking your medicine doesn't have anything to break down. And that's what, I'm talking about this. And if you're diabetic, I think most diabetics know this. This is more directed at family members of diabetics, maybe not even direct family members, because I think most family members that have a juvenile diabetic do understand what to look for, the signs, all that. You understand how it works. The feeling, people don't understand what it feels like after, and we'll touch on that a little bit too. But it's really, there's a lot of things that go into that can cause low blood sugars, just like there's a lot of things that can cause high blood sugars. Change in just hormonal changes. When you're growing up, it can jack your blood sugar up, and I imagine it could probably lower it too. I'm not a doctor, so I can't speak on that, but I can speak on what I know and what I've dealt with personally. So now my fears with Darcy, like I said, while she's asleep, which has hindered me from being able to sleep well because I can't get that out of my head. I think it might be worse for me because I've had to deal with it. Same with Amanda. I think that sometimes it might be a little rough on her because she has two people now in the house that she has to think, is their blood sugar going to drop low? Are they going to be okay? We always test Darcy at midnight to see where she's at. Sometimes we test her at 3 o'clock in the morning too, just to make sure. And I've had a lot of bad cases of hypoglycemia, which is low blood sugar, in the middle of the night. Amanda has, more times than she could probably count on 4 hands, has had to call 911 for me, to get somebody here, to get an ambulance here so that they can get me back up, because she wasn't able to do it herself. Now, there's been times where she hasn't had to call 911 and she's been able to get sugar in me, some sort of substance, whether it be glucose, the gel, or if I was coherent enough where I could chew tablets, peanut butter, stuff like that. Sometimes she can tell because of the movements I start making, because it's almost like a seizure for me. Darcy, like I said, has not had any issues yet. She is very good with her blood sugar. When I was younger, I was not as trying to think of the word, structured. I wasn't as mature as Darcy is. I'm very blessed that both of my children are as well behaved and as mature as they are. I never have to tell those kids what to do. They just do it. They're just good kids. And Darcy takes her diabetes extremely seriously, and she sticks to what she's supposed to do, and that's super important for people with diabetes. Now, getting into that, the reason that I have those feelings is because I've had these low blood sugars, that I have these fears, that I worry about Darcy's blood sugar going low. When you wake up after it, and this is, for me, this is how I feel. Other people might feel different. You could be stiff. There's a lot of tension when your blood sugar goes low. Your body tenses up. Horrible migraine headaches. Sometimes you chew your tongue, and that can be sore and bloody, and if you could hurt yourself while you're doing it. I've had that happen before. I've hit my face. I've woken up coming out of it bleeding before. And it's not fun. I know what it feels like, and it's horrifying as a father to know what you've been through and know that your daughter can take care of herself, and even if you're doing everything right, that it can still happen. It's horrifying. It doesn't matter what you do. I'm lucky so far that Darcy's been spot on. It's good. We do all the extra testing. We do everything we're supposed to. Those are all super important things. That's why I always say, if you're a diabetic and you don't feel right, test your blood sugar. Don't question it. Well, I mean, question it, but don't be like, oh, I'll be okay. I said that wrong, but just don't put it off, is what I meant to say. Test it. It's one test strip to make sure that your blood sugar is in a good range. You don't want to be doing anything that could potentially hurt yourself or hurt others. You see stories about people driving their cars and their blood sugar dropping low and wrecking it. And there's a lot of problems that diabetes can cause outside of that with your body's reaction. Like I said before, it could even have to do with you exercising and not eating, or not having a snack, or taking too much insulin on it. You can accidentally take too much insulin if your blood sugar was low or lower, and you were taking insulin and eating something and you're doing what you're supposed to do. You could take too much insulin. It's happened. You could accidentally do it. I mean, there's weird things happen to people, and just because you're like, well, I'm smart enough, that's not going to happen, that doesn't mean anything. It can happen to anybody. Anybody can accidentally do something. We're humans. That's what we do. But and for family members of diabetics, and I think all my diabetics would agree with me and know what I'm talking about, and they're probably all shaking their head right now. I know exactly what he's talking about. Waking up the next day feeling like poop. That's what it is, and it's horrible. Sometimes it's 2 days after you feel like garbage. I have other friends that are diabetics, and they feel like that. You just don't feel good after. Your whole body aches. It's horrible. I would rather have a high blood sugar than a low any day of the week. Any day of the week, I'd rather be high. I can correct highs real easy. Taking the insulin, drinking water, doing a little exercise will bring your blood sugar down real quick. When it's low, getting it back up, sometimes it doesn't want to go back up. Sometimes you just keep going low. I've had it happen, and Darcy's had low ones where it hasn't gone back up, where we've had to work on it for a while to get her blood sugar to go back up. And that gets into the honeymoon phase of diabetes. After you have it, sometimes they think that the pancreas can still produce some insulin every once in a while, after you've been diagnosed with diabetes as a juvenile diabetic. And the body will produce a little insulin. That can happen with adult onset too. Adult onset, a lot of times the body still does, I shouldn't say a lot because I don't know the statistics on it, but they do produce more, they can produce insulin, and that's why it's usually based on food intake, and you can control it that way. Maybe by some pills too, and sometimes adult onset diabetes patients have to also take insulin down the road. That it just, it does turn into full-blown where you need insulin, where you're insulin dependent. That does happen. And I know that I have had quite a few comments of people saying that they are, that they're adult onset and they do have to take insulin. And it's different for everybody. Everybody's different, and that's why you take your advice from your doctor and you listen, because they know what to do for you. With that being said, the one thing, and we talked about it last time, and this is, I'm going to show you what I use because I am a hunter and I am a fisherman, and sometimes I'm by myself. Like I said, I know when my blood sugar is feeling low. I buy these. They're $1.08 at Walmart, and I keep them in my hunting or my fishing bag. I don't know how many are in here. There's 10 tablets in here. Okay, so it's a couple uses if your blood sugar was to be low. And these are great to have. They don't take up a whole lot of room. Look, see, you can see my hand. Fits inside my hand. Okay? It doesn't take up a whole lot of room. You can put it in your tackle box. You can leave it in there. It's sealed. It's got a good cap on there. You put it in, and you'll have it in case your blood sugar goes low and you need to get something for yourself before. And what I would do is if that happened, I would pack up and leave right away. I wouldn't be sitting there. I would wait for my blood sugar to go back up. Always make sure that you have your meter on you. Always make sure that you have your meter. You need to check and have insulin with you too in case you have a high blood sugar. You don't want to be stuck somewhere with high blood sugar either. But the big thing is glucose tablets and meters. The other things, the gels, the stuff that you can put up your nose, I can't think of Backwoods, those are great to have too in case somebody finds you. Always have some kind of identification that you're diabetic. That's a big thing too. If you're out there by yourself and you're fishing or hunting, nobody knows you. If they find you, they're going to need to know that you're diabetic. So it's important to have some kind of identification on you, whether it's a card or a bracelet or a necklace. Have something that tells people that you're diabetic. It's not, you have to be safe. There's certain precautions you need to take. I try to plan things out really well so that I can take care of myself so I don't have to worry about that. Amanda's not going with me to SHOOTDANG FEST. The kids have school, there's stuff going on. I'm the only one going. I'm nervous. I can't tell you the last time I went somewhere by myself and stayed somewhere by myself. It's scary, especially when you know you have low blood sugar. So I will be using my meter. I will be checking regularly when I'm at SHOOTDANG FEST. This goes for anywhere anybody goes. You don't have to be a hunter or a fisherman. I'm using that as an example because that's me. But it could be anything that you do. You want to make sure that you're okay, and you want to make sure that the people are safe around you as well. Because if you're driving and your blood sugar goes low, you got a big problem. It's not going to be good. So, and there's even operating machinery, anything. I mean, bad stuff can happen, but I just kind of wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about that. Hope that you got something out of it. I'm going to be doing some diabetes videos every once in a while. Sorry if you're bored by this. I just thought a lot of people have diabetes. It affects a lot of people, and especially hypoglycemia with juvenile diabetes. I was reading an article, and the average diabetic has 2 a week where they get low enough where they're having hypoglycemia, which is crazy to think about. 2 a week's a lot. Now, that doesn't mean that you're low, which it's dangerous anyways, but I mean like dangerously low when you can't function and stuff. But little information for you, some of my feelings, why I'm scared. But you don't have to be, you just have to take extra precautions. I guess that's more or less what I'm saying. The fear is always going to be there, but you can take extra precautions to try to make it a little easier on everybody. So have a great night, everybody. Thanks for listening to me talk about diabetes. I'm going to do one of these once a week. I'm really hoping for a warm up in the weather here soon. I need to get out fishing. I'm dying to. So, but we'll see you on the next one. I'll be going live tomorrow night at 7. Have a wonderful night, everybody. Thank you for watching. And if you don't already, don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you never miss a video. We got a lot of good stuff coming out and a lot of funny stuff coming out too. Good night, everybody.